Welcome back to Lost in the World. Today I am breaking down my account, as well as the progress I've made from the last account overview video I did, and just to talk to you about some of the things that have cropped up during my progression really. I'm surprised by some of the classes that I kind of leveled up just to kind of generate gold. I really enjoy playing them. So I'm going to be talking through the choices I've made and what choices I will be making up to the release of the Kakul-Saydon raid, the Clown raid, on September 28th. Alright, let's go. Okay, so as you can see, my Artillerist is clown ready at 1475. However, as many of you will be aware, the Artillerist has received some huge changes in the Korean PTR, and we have yet to see where he lands in terms of damage and viability in the end game. Now, as I've already got him leveled, I'm obviously going to run him, and I'm quite lucky actually. I've always ran a crit swiftness build on my Artillerist, and therefore it's not going to affect me as much as it will affect other Artillerists. I didn't personally like the spec build. I didn't like the lack of mobility in the endgame content, especially when it comes to raids like Clown and Belshazzar, where the lack of mobility can really hurt you, and you will be needing a support to kind of babysit you if you go wheelchair mode a lot of the time in the endgame raid. So as I play solo, I wasn't too keen on that build, so I've always ran crit swiftness. I like the extra mobility, I like the spam. So yeah, I like that build, and that's the build I'm going to be going ahead with. Hopefully that means I don't have to change too much on my build. Maybe I need to add a little bit more crit, or maybe add more adrenaline. I don't know, we'll have to see where we land on that one. Now as you can see, my second character is now actually the Paladin. I've pushed the Paladin really hard. I left the Glaiver at 1445. I like the Glaiver, but I gotta admit, I just don't think I'm very good with her in endgame raids. I do feel myself in a bit of trouble a lot of the time in games, in raids, especially in Vicus. But also, I felt as a community, this is going to sound like a bit of a, I don't know, like I'm trying to be some kind of white knight or something, but not that type of white knight. But anyway, I think everyone should have a support for the good of the community. So I decided to level the Paladin, and I really enjoyed playing support. It's actually quite relaxing, just, you know, being the guy who supports people and not always having to really, you know, be at the forefront of all the damage. I quite enjoy doing endgame raids with my Paladin, so I'm going to continue leveling that Paladin, and that Paladin will be at 1475 for Clown. I will be pushing him towards the middle of September, towards 1475. In the meantime, I'm actually going to leave my Glaiver at 1445, and that's because I've kind of fallen in love with this cute gentleman here. This is my Destroyer. I literally just used the power pass on him because I like playing Hammer in Monster Hunter, and I thought I'd give it a go. And actually I really enjoy the gameplay. I really enjoy his bonk mode. I just really like the tankiness of him, the damage he puts out, the huge numbers. And now I'm really focused towards really pushing him towards endgame content. My Shadowhunter is just going to be there. It's a cheap class to farm gold with, and that's going to stay there. But my Destroyer, I am really tempted to push as my third alt. So leave my Glaiver there and then go for my Destroyer all the way up to Clown. Maybe what I do in the next few months. I really enjoy playing Destroyer. The Shadowhunter, as I've said, I'm happy to progress them on just bound materials slowly over time. It's a cheap class, easy to farm stuff with, so I'm going to keep it there. I enjoy the playstyle, it's simple. Very similar to Scouter, and that nicely leads me into the Scouter release, which actually, for me, was a bit of a bad time because I'm actually a bit tired of leveling alts. So I'm kind of going to give it a break for Scouter. I'm going to probably level up a Scouter when we get a Hyper Express confirmed, especially if it's like a 1415 or 1445 Hyper Express. I'm probably going to wait for the Scouter until the moment the 1415 or 1430 or 1445 Hyper Express comes out. But let's delve into each character individually and look at where they're at, and we'll talk about where we're going to go. Okay, so let's have a look at the Artillerist. Now, he's not perfectly geared, and that's because obviously, as you can tell, that I've spread my resources quite thinly across all my characters, which does mean he's not as strong as he should be. Personally, by the way, you're going to see this on a lot of my characters, I don't like running Curse Stall, which I know everyone's going to be like, oh, it's not meta, but yeah, it's just I value staying alive and putting out damage and being able to regularly put out damage rather than not being able to heal through stuff. And I know that's kind of saying, oh, I'm not trusting myself, but yeah, I don't trust myself right now. I'm not quite at the level where I'm good enough to run Cursed Dollar. I still firmly believe that. Grudge, obviously, I can get away with, and it's due to the firepower buff, and I don't know, Grudge just seems a better engraving for me overall, with it being multiplicative damage. Anyway, I digress. So this is my Artillerist build. Obviously, it's going to change when the PTR changes hit the game. I am running a full Nightmare set. and my crit is at 47.49, 1327 swiftness there. That's probably, I'm probably gonna have to switch out barrage enhancement and go adrenaline, more than likely is what's going to happen here for the extra crit, and do it that way. In terms of engravings, I did a while ago buy out my class engraving, so I am at 12. That's the only legendary engraving I've got. Going forward, I am focusing on grudge. I will be pushing my grudge, and as you can see, I've saved up some money. I'm going to do all my raids next week, sell all my mats next week. All my unbound mats will be sold, and I'm going to be investing that into grudge books. In terms of mats saved up, not a huge amount unbound mats. Let's throw them in there. I've got 409 great on leap stones. I won't be doing any more leveling until September 28th on this character, so I'd like to think that gets to, I don't know, near 1,000. I'd like to think gets to near 1,000. These mats I have saved up for my destroyer, which I'll be going into in a minute. And that's about it on my artillerist. You know, he comfortably clears all the raids. I'm not just saying this, I'm probably the last person to die in almost all my runs. He is quite tanky though, so that's probably the reason. My gems are pretty solid all around. Literally do boss rush tickets as soon as I get them and just whack them in. I won't be adding any more gems to this character. I will probably be moving a lot of gems into my destroyer. Again, I really enjoy the destroyer, what can I say? Okay, so moving on to the Glaiver, or the Glaiver as a normal person would call him, or her. Okay, so my Glaiver, you know, I enjoy playing Glaiver, but maybe in the end game stuff, maybe a little bit less so. I actually built Salvation on my Glaiver just because I didn't want two characters running the same set, just for a slightly different playstyle. In hindsight, it really doesn't make a difference, really. But yeah, that's why I decided to go Salvation. I have started building back into Nightmare, but probably by the time I've done that, I'll be able to do the gear set conversion. I'm not a million miles away. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So my Glaiver is currently at Pinnacle, Grudge, Keen Blunt, Mass Increase, Supercharge. Supercharge is just because it was a cheap option to get a level 1 5th engraving. Obviously, I'd probably want that to be Raid Captain, but again, my engravings didn't quite drop that way on my items. And going back to the original point, I've spread my resources thinly across 6 characters, which means I have to make sacrifices here and there. But again, Valtan hard, Vicus normal, this character is fine. I do feel a bit squishy, I can't lie. I'm probably not very good with my positioning on my Glaiver, and it's probably one of the reasons she's dropping down the pecking order. However, solid class to really play with, enjoyable in the easier content. I love the stance switching, it's fun. She puts out decent damage, but again, for the effort, I don't think her damage is good enough for me personally. That's just my own opinion on that. Okay, gems. I actually invested solidly. I can't say the word. In gems for her. I'll be moving some of these to, you guessed it, the destroyer very, very soon. She's solid. She's nothing spectacular. She's not bad. She's just solid. My issue with her is sometimes I just feel like I'm a little bit in the face of danger, too much for the amount of damage I put out. I feel like I should be putting out a little bit more damage when I'm in the line of fire so much. Looking at what I've got saved for her is a lot. I mean, looking at her, she has just in her bound materials over 10,000 destruction stones, almost 1,500 great on a leap stones. It's obviously I need to use them at some point. I don't know when I'm going to do that. Obviously, it gets expensive to craft at this point, to gear on. However, with that many stones, I think I'd be silly not to at least just use the bound mats and see where it gets me. That will be something I think about once I've leveled up my other characters. And that is my Glaiver. Moving on. Okay, so we're at the Paladin. Now, I leveled up Paladin again because I really felt that, you know, there's a massive lack of supports at the end game, and I'm a big advocate of Smilegate providing a support-only power pass that gets supports towards, I know people are going to think I'm crazy here, but maybe 1445, 1430, so they can do Vicus and Valtan normal. I think that would be a really healthy thing for the community. So I started leveling my Paladin, and honestly, I really enjoy playing support at end game. Obviously, it's really, really easy to get a group. It's not expensive to build. I mean, this will do me fine going forward for quite a while. Now, I need to sort out my stat allocation. Again, I quickly kind of geared this character to push him into raids. Obviously, it needs to change a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to push this character to 1475. That is my main priority once we get into September. So August is mostly going to be gold generation by selling mats and buying engraving books. Now, my character currently, sorry I keep clicking the wrong button here. So this is what we have on the Paladin right now. 140 grit on elite stones, 1440 guardian stones. This is all going to build up over time. I won't be selling anything I've already used on a character. Sorry, I've already saved on a character. But going forward, everything else will be sold once the destroyer is at 1415. In terms of gems, I don't have much on them. You know, I've got the Holy Protection cooldown at level 7. Really, one of the important ones. I guess technically I could spend a bit of money on some level 6 gems, but I have bigger priorities right now. Overall, yeah, really enjoy that. I also, just bonus point, I really like the default skin here on the support set. It goes very well with the whole Paladin theme, being a Holy Knight, etc. So I quite like this. In terms of sets, I'm obviously using Yearning on him, and I'll be at the 6-piece soon enough. And that's it really. Paladin is really nice to play a support. You always can find a group. You can basically have the choice of your groups when doing endgame content, and yeah, it's you're doing something good for everybody. So yeah, Paladin for the win. Moving on then, we are going on to the Shadowhunter. Okay, so the Shadowhunter we basically built as a cheap alt class to eventually do raids with. 2 gems, nice and easy. Already got 2 level 7 gems in. That'll last me for quite a while. I've only just got this character to 1415, so no relic pieces on the character. But I am just about to do my first Valtan with him. The build isn't great. Again, I don't really want to invest too heavily in the accessories right now. The relics I got were actually from my other characters that I sent over. Cost me some peons. I'll be doing the same for the destroyer, but it did get me some half decent relic accessories with specialization and grudge on it. So yeah, that's saved me a fair bit. Not bad actually, considering I just got this character to 1415 4 days ago. So yeah, quite happy with this build. Hoping to finish Valtan tonight actually after I've done this video. In terms of anything else, pretty simple, not a huge amount going on. It's full specialization, a little bit of swiftness on the necklace. What I like about this character is that when you switch into demon form, you go from like this cute Makoko into this horrible cockroach. So I quite like that, to be honest. Not as much as I like this cat with a giant human with a giant cat head. Wow, look at this guy. Bloody hell, he is a specimen. Right. To be honest, Shadowhunter is a very simple class, and as a result, my build is very simple. Not more to it than that. On to the new love of my life, my Destroyer. Okay, so we're on to the Destroyer. As you can tell, he's got this brilliant expression on his face that I absolutely love. And he's got a giant rubber ducky as a hammer. I mean, what is there not to love about this guy? I really love the playstyle of the Destroyer. A lot of people think it's slow. I just love just bonking things with the hammer. It's brilliant. In terms of build, it's not very good right now. I've basically put 0 effort into anything on this character. As soon as he hits 1415 though, I've got a ton of good accessories on my other characters, which I'll be mailing over to him, and we'll see where that lands. I'm hoping to have a really nice build for him. I'm really tempted to spend some money on Rage Hammer engravings after I get Grudge, even though it's really selfish because it's going to screw over my other characters. But I like the way he plays. I like the huge numbers he does. Super fun. Engravings, Supercharged Rage Hammer, Master Brawler, almost 3, not quite, and Barricade. Gems, I got a level 8 in there. I'm going to be pushing level 7 gems from my Glaiver into this character very soon. And he is running just his standard, preordained, chosen stuff until we get the relic entropy set at 1445. I really want to push this character to 1445. However, the focus is the Paladin first. Once the Paladin is 1445, I'm going to see where this character is at. And also, if we get Hyper Express with the Scouter, if we do, we'll have to, it won't be more than 1415, will it? Delete that thought. Anyway, that's my Destroyer. Very fun character to play. And when I get him to 1415, he will have a huge power spike because all the accessories I've got on my other characters. I've got a lot of accessories, the Master Brawler, Grudge on there, and Barricade. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. In terms of what he's got in his inventory, not a huge amount. Obviously, he's a new character, so, you know, not a lot at all. And I am owning with him regularly at the moment. Finally, my last low pang alt is the Gunlancer. Finally we got the Gunlancer. Gunlancer is my low pang alt. Initially I got him to 1400 so I could get accepted into Argos groups and do Argos. And that's what I still do. I still do Argos on him every week, as you can tell here. I've done it this week with him and Orias. So yeah, that's what I do with him for gold generation. Very quick Chaos Dungeon clearing alt, silver farming alt. I literally have all my low pangs set up, the shortcuts. I just pop in, pick up, I've done them already today, but I pick up my low pangs, quickly run in, do that. That's about it. That's all I do with him. I actually never really do Guardian raids on this character. Can't be bothered doing Yoho. I do the Chaos Dungeons though pretty regularly. So yeah, Silver Generation boy is my Gunlancer. Now, with the Scouter, like I said in the previous video, that if the Scouter comes with a 1415 Hyper Express, I'll be very tempted just to use it to level the Scouter up to 1415. If he doesn't, I will definitely wait till a Hyper Express comes out and leave this Gunlancer here. If that does happen with the Hyper Express, the Gunlancer will be demoted to strictly silver farming and Chaos Dungeon farming, and he will hit the bench, the dreaded bench. And they are all of my characters, to be honest. That's my account, that's where I'm at. I'm hoping, in a perfect world, I would like to get my Paladin to 1475, which I'm pretty certain will happen. And my Destroyer, I'd like to get to Vicus Hard. Now, that's going to be difficult if I'm selling mats for the whole of August. But we will see. We will see where we get to. I'll do an update video on the 27th of September before Clown goes live and see what progress I've made. I may just get greedy and not sell all the mats and gear on, but I do want to sort out my legendary engravings ASAP. And that's it really, that's my account overview. I hope I didn't drag on for too long. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, blah 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 blah. Thank you, take care, bye.